The Big Bang Theory's Kunal Nayyar adapting thriller novel as TV show. For millions of viewers, Kunal Nayyar will forever be Raj Koothrappali, the softly spoken astrophysicist with a romantic heart, impeccable sweaters, and a knack for delivering punchlines that snuck up on you. But in the years since The Big Bang Theory signed off, Nayyar has been quietly and deliberately reshaping his creative identity. Acting has remained part of the picture, but producing, developing, and shepherding stories from page to screen has become just as important. That evolution makes the news that Nayyar is adapting a thriller novel into a television series feel less like a surprise and more like the natural next chapter of his post-sitcom career. A thriller adaptation marks a fascinating pivot. Sitcom fame can be both a blessing and a trap. Audiences laugh with you for a decade, then expect laughter forever. Nayyar's move into darker, tenser territory signals ambition, not just to escape typecasting, but to help build a series that thrives on suspense, psychology, and moral ambiguity. In an era where prestige television often lives and dies by its thrillers, Nayyar's project positions him squarely within the most competitive and creatively daring corner of the TV landscape. From punchlines to page-turners, the path from comedy to thriller may seem like a leap, but it's a leap many performers have made with great success. What comedy and thrillers share, after all, is rhythm. Both rely on timing, escalation, and the careful withholding of information. A well-placed joke lands because the audience doesn't see it coming. A great twist devastates for the same reason. Nayyar has spoken often about his love of storytelling beyond jokes, particularly stories that explore identity, isolation, and the hidden lives people lead. Thrillers thrive on exactly those ideas. At their best, they aren't just about crimes or conspiracies. They're about the fragile stories we tell ourselves to stay sane, safe, or powerful. Adapting a novel allows Nayyar to begin with a foundation that already understands this. A good thriller novel is a blueprint for tension, chapters that end on cliffhangers, characters who reveal themselves in layers, and a central mystery that grows more complicated the closer you get to the truth. Translating that into episodic television is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity to expand, deepen, and sometimes even reimagine the source material. Why a thriller and why now? Television thrillers are having a moment that feels both modern and timeless. From limited series about unreliable narrators to sprawling conspiracies that unfold over multiple seasons, audiences have shown a hunger for stories that demand attention. These are not background shows, they're series that reward focus and punish distraction. For Nayyar, this genre offers a chance to assert a new creative voice. Instead of delivering lines written by others, he can help shape tone, pacing, and thematic direction from the ground up. As a producer, he's not just asking, is this entertaining? But why does this story need to exist now? Thrillers often reflect cultural anxieties about surveillance, trust, power, and identity. Depending on the novel Nayyar is adapting, the show could tap into fears about technology, global politics, or the quiet violence of everyday relationships. Even a deeply personal psychological thriller can feel timely in an age where perception and reality are constantly blurred. The novel as a launchpad. One of the most exciting aspects of adapting a thriller novel is the built-in fanbase. Readers come with expectations, theories, and emotional investment. That can be daunting, but it's also energizing. The best adaptations respect the core of the book while recognizing that television is a different medium. A novel lives inside a reader's head. A TV show must externalize thoughts, fears, and motivations through performance and visual language. This often means inventing new scenes, expanding minor characters, or restructuring the timeline to suit episodic storytelling. Nayyar's involvement suggests an adaptation that's thoughtful rather than mechanical, one that asks what the story feels like, not just what happens. There's also the question of scope. Many novels are effectively long movies, but television allows for breathing room. Subplots can grow. Secondary characters can step into the spotlight. Themes can be revisited from different angles. A single twist in a book might become an entire episode of Fallout on screen. Nayyar as producer, a different kind of performance. Producing isn't glamorous in the same way acting is, but it's where creative power truly lives. As a producer, Nayyar becomes a collaborator at every level, working with writers to shape the script, with directors to define visual tone, and with actors to refine performances. This role also allows him to influence representation and perspective. Nayyar has long been vocal about the importance of diverse voices in storytelling, both in front of and behind the camera. A thriller adaptation offers room to explore characters from varied backgrounds without reducing them to symbols. Suspense stories work best when characters feel real and real people come from everywhere. Whether Nayyar appears on screen in the series or stays behind the scenes, his fingerprints will be all over the project. His understanding of long-form television, earned over 12 seasons of network TV, gives him insight into how shows evolve, how characters grow, and how audiences attach themselves emotionally over time. Breaking free of Raj Koothrappali, it's impossible to talk about Nayyar without acknowledging the Big Bang Theory. The sitcom was a cultural phenomenon, and Raj was a character who evolved dramatically over its run. But that success can cast a long shadow. Viewers sometimes struggle to see actors beyond their most famous roles. Adapting a thriller novel is a deliberate step away from that shadow. It signals seriousness of intent. This is not about recreating past success. It's about building something new. If Nayyar chooses to act in the series, it's likely to be a role that contrasts sharply with Raj, controlled where Raj was anxious, morally ambiguous where Raj was earnest, dangerous where Raj was gentle. Even if Nayyar doesn't appear on screen, the project still reframes his public image. He becomes a storyteller in his own right, someone shaping narratives rather than simply inhabiting them. That shift can be just as powerful as any dramatic performance. The challenges of adaptation. Adapting a thriller novel isn't without risk. Fans of the book will scrutinize every change. Critics will compare the show not only to the source material, but to a crowded field of high-quality thrillers. Pacing is especially tricky. Stretch the story too thin and tension dissipates, move too fast, and emotional impact suffers. There's also the challenge of tone. A thriller must know what kind of fear it's invoking. Is it a slow burn psychological unease? A relentless race against time? A mystery that unfolds with intellectual precision? Clarity of tone will be essential, and that clarity often comes from strong leadership at the producing level. Nayyar's experience on a long-running series could prove invaluable here. He understands how to maintain consistency while allowing for evolution. He knows the importance of setting up payoff seasons in advance. Those skills translate beautifully to serialized thrillers. What this means for television. Nayyar's adaptation is part of a broader trend. Actors leveraging their fame to champion stories they believe in. Rather than waiting for roles to come along, they're creating opportunities for themselves and for others. This shift has diversified television in meaningful ways, bringing new perspectives into genres that once felt narrow. A thriller series shepherded by someone best known for comedy also challenges audience assumptions. It asks viewers to approach the show with fresh eyes, unburdened by expectations. That can be exhilarating. Some of the most memorable TV moments come from creative risks that initially seem counterintuitive. If successful, the project could open doors for Nayyar to adapt additional novels or develop original material in the same vein. It could also encourage networks and streamers to take chances on creators who don't fit traditional molds. Anticipation and possibility. At this stage, details about the adaptation